I think that they've got the problem, not Gary O'Neill. It sounded like he was really boring because he was talking about football all the time, but he's obsessed with football. That's not a bad thing, is it?
No. And it's always when someone's on the way down. And you did hear that a few months ago when he picked things up here and was doing really well. So, look, take what people say with a pinch of salt. We've got Hugo Lloris trying to sell a book and selling all sorts of nonsense. So you have to just take it with a pinch of salt. The only concern I have before the game, and I'm probably going to get a little bit ahead of myself, is just looking at the warm-ups. We spoke about it earlier with Dean Ashton. This is a massive game for both teams, right? Wolves warm-up. Not having a lot of the ball, so really interested before the game's even started, see Gary O'Neill have to go out and kind of prep his team up to say, do you know what's happening? Do you know what's about to come? And really interested, that little tweet there.
That's a great spot, that, and I guess that since the warm-up in the dressing room, he might have had a bit of work to do. We'll see what he's made of.
Absolutely, but it's more of a worry and a reflection of the players that he's got. So if you need a manager to tell you, by the way, this team we're about to play against, so a position below you, we're a position between us, and we have to go out and win this game because we haven't won in 10. But I need the manager to get me motivated. I'd start questioning these players before I question the manager personally.
Gary O'Neill has said he takes full responsibility for his part in their inability to win a game so far this season, then being bottom of the table. It's one win in 20 in the Premier League, and it was against Luton, so that doesn't really count. And I'm joking. On today's game, he said there's a lot riding on it. He actually came out and said that. He says a lot riding on it, momentum-wise, heading into the international break. That's more or less him admitting, if we lose today, I'm gone, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's being honest. A fair play to him. We want someone. There's no point saying, this game is the same as last week, because it's not. This game is huge for his career, for this moment in the Wolverhampton season. Look, Russell Martin's out of the pitch already. He knows his team's being taken care of. They know what they're doing. He's relaxed. He's ready. Gone over to the Southampton fans, get them going. But him and his coaching staff are already out. I know they do this a lot, where they let the players conduct it. Adam Lallana will be talking right now. Ramsdale will be talking right now. If you flip that to the Wolves' point of view, who's talking? Who's getting hold of it? Who's saying, right, this is the game? Based on that warm-up that I've seen, there's not many.
Yeah, and if anybody is talking, who's listening?
There you go.
Another big question. On Russell Martin, there's a lot of people don't like him. I think he's a bit stubborn, a bit smug sometimes. But I personally think that's because he comes out and says things. And I'm not going to go at Kieran McKenna, but his interviews are largely wishy-washy. He doesn't really say much. Russell Martin wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think he gets criticism
to win it. So Everton's performances have been a lot more consistent than what West Ham's have.
The fans are filing in here at the London Stadium as we build up to this game, and you can sense some of this tension as well in the air as the players make their way out onto the pitch. Gentlemen, thank you very much. So much live football on the way for you across the TalkSport network. We are the only place to be. Over on TalkSport right now, Adrian Durham is taking you round the grounds with all the goals as they go in up and down the country. And don't forget, you can be the first to have your say on national radio. The Steel City derby, Sheffield United against Sheffield Wednesday from 12:30 on TalkSport 2 in the Championship before the Sunday session from 1:30, keeping you across all of the action in the Premier League. First though, we have a game in our hands here at the London Stadium as the players line up on the field. The bubbles fill the air, grey skies overhead, but will the gloom continue for West Ham? Can Everton repeat their trick from last season and pick up all 3 points? And after a shaky start, is this last chance saloon all ready for Julian Lopetegui? Taking you through the action, your top commentary team, the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves, but first, your match commentator, Ian Danter.
Thank you, Ollie, and a very good afternoon to you, wherever and however you're listening to TalkSport 2. And Game Day Exclusive continues with this tense afternoon in store in East London. Perry and myself were here a couple of weeks back when West Ham somehow contrived to beat Manchester United 2-1 when they could so easily have been 4-0 down at half-time. So despite the prospect of 3 straight home wins for the first time in 2 years here today, I'll wager there's barely a Hammers fan here who isn't looking very closely about what progress Julian Lopetegui is or isn't making 10 games into this campaign. But Everton arrive here 2 places lower than West Ham's 14th spot and have 2 points fewer. After an awful start, the Toffees had rallied, going 5 unbeaten before handing Southampton their first Premier League win a week ago. Only 1 away win in 16 top-flight trips makes for worrying reading, and 9 points from 10 played represents the worst return for them since 2017, when it was 8 points from the first 10 when Ronald Koeman started the season and never made it to 10 games before his dismissal. Team news: 2 changes for either side. West Ham bring out Mikel Antonio and Thomas Souček into their side. Everton, they bring back Abdullah Doucouré after a groin problem, and Jarrad Branthwaite gets a start at centre half. I'll run you through the full lineups in a moment, because the West Ham PA announcer is about to hand over to the ceremony on the pitch. We are, of course, a day away from Remembrance Sunday. There is a giant poppy in the centre circle where the Premier League logo would normally sit on days like today, and actually our referee today, Stuart Atwell, and the 2 captains, Jared Bowen and James Tarkowski, are sorting out the coin toss outside of the centre circle. And in fact, Everton have just clearly won the toss, because they've turned West Ham around, and they're going to make West Ham kick towards the Bobby Moore stand in the first half that they normally like to attack in the second half of games. But everyone's now amassing around the centre circle, and Trevor Brooking and Ian Snowden are about to lay wreaths by the centre circle representing West Ham and Everton. Let's hand you over to the West Ham United public announcer.
Ian Snowden, ambassador for Everton Football Club. Staff Sergeant Luke Carpenter of the Army Air Corps, accompanied by Last Post Bugle, Austin Dervish of the Royal British Legion Band. We remember the fallen. These words commemorate our gratitude to the men and women for the ultimate sacrifice that they made. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years to end. At the going down of the sun, in the morning, we will remember.
So Stuart Atwell blows his whistle, and the 2 sets of players and those members of the armed forces gather up that giant poppy that's been displayed in the centre circle here at the London Stadium. Ian Snowden and Sir Trevor Brooking make their way off with the bugler, who just played that impeccable version of The Last Post. And we're ready for the off for Game Day exclusive on TalkSport 2. Both teams in their traditional first choice colours. West Ham, claret and blue shirts, white shorts and socks. Everton in all blue. So the lineups in full. For West Ham, Lucas Fabianski in goal, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Jean-Claire Todibo, Maximilian Kilman and Emerson in the back four. Thomas Souček and Guido Rodriguez. Then Jared Bowen, Lucas Paquetá and Crescencio Somerville behind Michail Antonio. And for Everton, Jordan Pickford the keeper, Ashley Young, James Tarkowski, Jared Branthwaite and Vitaly Mikalenko in the back four. Then Oro Mangala and Idrissa Gueye holding Jesper Lindstrom, Abdoulaye Doucouré and Iliman Ndiaye behind Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Lucas Paquetá will get us underway. He's going to roll the ball back from the halfway line. Stuart Atwell checks with both keepers. VAR, of course, in operation with Darren England back at Stockley Park. And back it goes to Lucas Fabianski, bedecked all in yellow this afternoon, the West Ham keeper. And his long ball downfield seeks out Michail Antonio, one of two players recalled to the side today by Julian Lopetegui. Everton win it back. It's headed up to halfway, looking for Calvert-Lewin to get something on it. But Michail Antonio has suffered a bit of a delayed reaction to going up for that early header. Inside 30 seconds, Perry Groves, 0-0.
Yeah, I think it was just a coming together. The ball dropped out there with James Tarkowski. I don't know if Antonio's just winded. You just see him just coming over top of Idrissa Gueye. And I think just the way he's landed, Dance. I think
it might be an awkward landing on his left ankle.
Yeah, it just looks like it could be jarred his knee.
Well, he's back on his feet, and we'll see how he gets on once the whistle goes again. Remember, there's other Premier League action that's kicking off right now. Brentford, Bournemouth, Palace, Fulham and Wolves, Southampton. Adrian Durham and the team taking you around the grounds over on TalkSport. But here on TalkSport 2, our concentration is fully on matters here at the London Stadium. But I'll keep you updated with goals going in elsewhere around the country. Here's James Tarkowski as play restarts. Everton hit the ball long downfield. Calvert-Lewin is the target, goes over his head, but Doucouré's in behind for a moment, but across came Wan-Bissaka from right full-back and had the pace to get in front of Doucouré and put it out for a throw, 0-0.
Wan-Bissaka did brilliantly there, put on the afterburners. It looked like Doucouré could have been through a 1v1 with Fabianski, but Wan-Bissaka just read the danger, managed to get himself in front of Doucouré.
Now Lindstrom pushing in field from the right-hand side for Everton, gets to the edge of the area, but it's cleared away by Souček, and he was caught late, Souček, as he tried to hook that ball up to the halfway.
Now this is MK Dons boss Scott Lindsay against his old club Swindon, and actually MK Dons beaten home by Wimbledon in the FA Cup last week with the fans booing them off and then singing "You're not."
Well, he's got a lot on his plate. Of course, there's these allegations against his name that may well have affected his football in recent times, Lucas Paquetá, but Julen Lopetegui giving him his opportunity to show what he can do. 8 goals last season. He's managed a couple so far this campaign. He is back on his feet and should be able to rejoin, and didn't need any treatment, so he doesn't have to go off the field.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit of a knee on knee, just a coming together with Idrissa Gueye, so he's going to be okay. Just again looking at Everton, we thought there'd be that 4-2-3-1 system, which they are. Doucouré will play in that 10 position, so when they're out of possession, it's Doucouré goes up level with Calvert-Lewin just to try and put the press on.
Because he's a tall lad, Abdoulaye Doucouré, he can win headers in exactly the same way that Calvert-Lewin can. Now it's cleared downfield by Jean-Claude Todibo for West Ham. Good cushioned header infield from Antonio on halfway, but Ashley Young was on the scene first for Everton. Ball comes back to halfway, but Idrissa Gueye brings it out of the sky, fires it out to the left-hand side, and he'll get it back down that left-hand side for Everton from Iliman Ndiaye. But away goes Antonio trying to burst down the right-hand side, but he had very little room to work in, and he just hit it straight over the touchline, and Everton have a throw, 0-0.
Just looking at both teams are very nervy, aren't they, in possession. We've seen a couple of times both sets of players give the ball away. Crescencio Somerville just rolled it out of play, didn't he, where it's a simple 10-yard pass. Iliman Ndiaye has just given the ball away on Everton's far left-hand side. Again, it was a simple pass into Doucouré, and we saw Antonio just have his second touch was a tackle.
West Ham have won 5 of their last 8 in the Premier League against Everton, and had won 5 of the previous 30. So their recent form against the top is much better than of old. They've won a free kick just over the halfway line. We've played 6 minutes on TalkSport 2. Don't forget tonight, a bit of a bonus exclusive for you on TalkSport. Liverpool against Aston Villa is an 8 p.m. kickoff at Anfield. Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce up there to bring you full exclusive commentary on that one after the game day phone-in with Jamie and Jason. Antonio waits at the front of the attack, but it's with Wan-Bissaka. It's worked across from right to left actually from West Ham, and here's Emerson, midway point of the half, hugging this near touchline, goes infield to Paquetá, little flick round the corner from Somerville, trying to get Emerson away on the underlap, and he's doing his best to put Lindstrom in trouble, but Lindstrom actually stuck to his task well, and it's out of play for an Everton throw. Derby 1, Plymouth 0. Wayne Rooney returns to Pride Park, but Derby already a goal down. Jerry Yates for the Rams in the Championship. That goal is in this afternoon.
Yeah, again, that was a little sort of highlight there of both teams. Again, just being very, very sloppy in possession. When it come into Somerville, we should have just taken a little touch. And
you could throw a blanket over all the players out there who had compressed either side of the halfway line as West Ham get forward down the left-hand side of the box with Bowen, and he's won a corner off Branthwaite. First corner of the game goes to West Ham at the Bobby Moore stand away to our left, 0-0.
Yeah, it's a good run from Jared Bowen coming in for that right-hand side, just getting himself in the centre-forward position. Somerville just trying to release him, getting himself to the byline, gets blocked at the near post, corner for West Ham on their left-hand side.
Just down beneath us to our left, it'll be a left-footed outswinger from Emerson for West Ham. Everton players guarding both posts. In it comes then from Emerson, deep to the back stick. He was looking for Bowen, I think he was free, but the ball not quite strong enough to reach him, at least not initially, but he went out to the right-hand side as the ball deflected away, but Everton have won it back, and Lindstrom releases Doucouré over halfway. There's plenty sprinting forward for Everton. Doucouré inside the box, great block on its way to goal from Crescencio Somerville, doing his defensive duty, and a lightning quick counter-attack from Everton eventually comes to nothing. Somerville to the rescue for West Ham, 0-0.
Brilliant play from Crescencio Somerville. It's Aaron Wan-Bissaka just giving the ball away on the stretch, sloppy from Jared Bowen. Then Everton on the counter-attack with Idrissa Gueye, just rolls it into Doucouré, just thinks he takes a heavy touch dance. It should be a smaller touch so he can get it out of his feet. And then Crescencio Somerville does brilliantly just to run fully 60-70 yards, gets his slide tackle in, and then it just bobbles up, comes to Calvert-Lewin, and he smashes the ball over the crossbar. Big opportunity for Everton.
Joint top scorer for Everton last season, Abdoulaye Doucouré, with 7 in all. He knows his way to goal, and he has played in this attacking midfield position plenty of times before for his club. He's in for Dwight McNeil, who's not in the squad at all today for Everton. Throw into West Ham, 9 minutes gone, 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you at the London Stadium. Wan-Bissaka looking to feed it in field for Bowen, but it was cleared away by Branthwaite, and then Iliman and Jai went to throw just shy of the halfway line for the Toffees. Everton, as I mentioned, just one away win in 16 attempts. That came at Ipswich in October, and a third of their Premier League wins in London have come here or at Upton Park against West Ham United. And Perry and our host this afternoon, Ollie Klink, were here last year when Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored the only goal of the game just after half-time to take all 3 points back to Merseyside, approaching 10 minutes. Throw into Everton, bang on the halfway line. Ashley Young to take it. Evergreen Ashley Young, what's this now, 462 Premier League appearances for Young this afternoon.
That's Will Young, isn't it?
Evergreen, very good knowledge. Not quite one for the teenagers, but maybe one for the 20-somethings. Throw into Everton, around about the same point they had the last one. Young again to take it. Pretty sure he worked with Sean Dyche in his Watford days.
When he was a winger.
Yes. But of course he's all-purpose, Ashley Young, and has been for many a season, whether it's for Everton or for Manchester United or Inter Milan. Playing a number of different positions. Wolves 1, Southampton 1. Ryan Manning equalises for Southampton at Molineux. That's a tense afternoon as well as it is here, I'm sure, with Gary O'Neill and Russell Martin, two managers being scrutinised, much as Julian Lopetegui and Sean Dyche are just now. Everton in possession on halfway. It's with Tarkowski out to the right hand side in Jesper Lindstrom, lays it off to Young, but Young has to go back into his own half, and you can around
very
the stadium,
subdued, very subdued atmosphere. You can tell that the West Ham fans obviously want to be on the edge of their seats. They want to be excited, but West Ham haven't given anything.
Here's Njai down the left hand side for Everton, pushing in field into the box, goes for goal. It's a comfortable save from Fabianski, getting low down to his left, and he's quickly to his feet. But Iliman and Jai was shown inside by the West Ham defenders and was quite happy to have a crack at goal from the edge of the box, 0-0.
Yeah, it was 1v1 with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. As you say there, if you're going to show him inside, you've got to make sure you block the shot. So he just gets to the edge of the box with his right foot. He's trying to bend it low inside Fabianski's left-hand post. Doesn't get enough curl on it. Simple save from Fabianski. Obviously gives the ball back to West Ham. Now it's whether they can be better in their possession.
And Chantel Todibo just passes it straight out of play with an amble in his boot, nowhere near Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Unless a mole's just popped up from nowhere, he has no excuse of putting that ball out of play there. He's under no pressure. That just sums up West Ham. He's under no pressure at all. All he's got to do is roll it out to Wan-Bissaka, who's 15 yards away from him. He misses him, Dance, by, 7 yards?
At least.
And smashed it out of play.
That's the voice of Perry Groves with me, Ian Danter, here on TalkSport 2. 12 minutes gone, 0-0 in the game of the day in League 2. Fourth against third. Notts County are in front. Alassane Yatta gets another goal. That's 7 for the season for Yatta. Notts County doing brilliantly, 5 unbeaten, but Donny are in good form as well. And Wigan 0, Wycombe 1. The leaders of League 1 are in front through Joe Lowe at the DW. Wigan 0, Wycombe 1. West Ham throw in their right back position. Wan-Bissaka into Souček, but he can't turn, and by the time he managed to get anywhere near the ball, it was well out of play. And it's a throw-in for Everton, but they make a bit of a hash of it. Poor clearance from Wan-Bissaka, kept alive by Doucouré. Then it's rolled right for Ashley Young to whip a ball in. Header up in the air by Kilman, headed further clear by Bowen, but it's won back by Gay. Now Mangala turns away from Paquetá, slides it into Lindstrom, little back heel to get Young in. First time cross, straight into the breadbasket of the defender, and then cleared away, back as far as Ashley Young again. Ricochet helps him out, down the right wing, goes down under pressure from Paquetá, and what has the referee given? A free kick to Everton, just outside the penalty area near the dead ball line. 13 gone, 0-0.
Ridiculous challenge from Paquetá. Ashley Young's going nowhere, just tries to flick the ball past him. Paquetá just gets his right arm on his shoulder. Ashley Young goes down.
That Southampton goal's been ruled out, by the way. It's still 1-0 to Wolves. Goals as they're ruled out here on TalkSport 2. Never mind goals as they go in. So still 1-0 to Wolves at Molineux.
VAR as it happens.
Yeah. Free kick to Everton. and it's going to be Jesper Lindström to take it. It's very close to the edge of the box. It's about, I would say, 6 yards back from the dead ball line, and it's a packed 6-yard box, and he drills it into that 6-yard area. Paquetá heads it away, first defender at the near post, comes out to the midway point of the half. Gay plays it left, tees back into the box by Mikalenko, then it's headed back towards the penalty area. Calvert-Lewin trying to make a nuisance of himself. West Ham should get this clear, and do, and off goes Somerville on the chase to halfway, but he's comfortably beaten to it by Ashley Young, and then Paquetá hits it against Abdoulaye Doucouré and wins a throw in for West Ham midway point of their own half. 0-0 the score, and we've played 14 and a half minutes on TalkSport 2. Perry Groves.
Just looking at that free kick there from Jesper Lindström, really dangerous. All you've got to do is just help it in the 6-yard box. Make sure you miss the first man, make sure you put it on the top of Fabianski to make a decision. What does he do? Tries to put it in with pace and hits Paquetá at the near post, and just wasted a golden opportunity.
You're listening to West Ham 0, Everton 0 on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Brighton versus Manchester City, live today. Just search Now Sports. Everton in possession with Mangala just at the right-hand corner of his own penalty area. Laid back to Tarkowski, who feints to clear it and then just drags the ball away from Jared Bowen, gives it back to Jordan Pickford. Started the last 80 Premier League games for Everton since September of 2022. His ball goes out right, and now it's Everton's turn to let the ball dribble out of play hopelessly for a throw. Ashley Young couldn't control it. Bournemouth lead at Brentford. Evan Nilsson scores again. That's 2-2 for him, and they lead at the G-Tech in the Premier League. Brentford 0, Bournemouth 1.
Just looking at both teams, Dan, trying to play it from the back. Neither team are comfortable, are they? We just saw Tarkowski there, just can roll it into Ashley Young, hits it out of play. But at the moment, in this first 16 minutes, West Ham have looked like a team of trialists, that they don't know each other. There's no cohesion there whatsoever.
It really is a very subdued London stadium. I'm sure Deck, our producer, has got the effects mics turned up full, but you wouldn't know it. Ball's out of play for a throw. Jesper Lindström just intercepts a crossfield pass that was intended for Antonio, and it will be a throw for Emerson right next to where Sean Dyche is standing, tracksuit manager today, at the edge of his technical area. And the technical areas here at West Ham have basically got their own postcode.
It looks like he should be in the brass band, doesn't he, Sean Dyche? His tracksuit he's got on.
Now Antonio out to the right hand side, bit of space for the captain Jared Bowen, who comes in field, fires it into the feet of Antonio, too strong for him to have controlled it, and it's cleared away upfield, and there's a claims for a push on Calvert-Lewin, not given. Everton have got to clear it, and they do through Ashley Young up to halfway. Calvert-Lewin brings it down really well and lays it off to Mangala. Mangala just clipped by Antonio. Free kick to Everton. Couple of goals in the Championship. Sunderland lead Coventry. The leaders in front through Wilson Isidore, and Bristol City lead at Norwich. Anis Mehmeti, 2-2 for him. Scored a penalty against Sheffield United that ultimately led to nothing on Tuesday, but he's given Bristol City the lead at Carrow Road. What's happening to Norwich?
Do you want my inane stat of the day?
Oh, I always want your inane stat.
Sunderland, the last 8 meetings between Sunderland and Coventry have alternated between a draw and a win for Coventry. Basically,
Antonio into the area for Bowen, across the face of goal, and no one there to turn it home. And there was an offside flag up anyway against Jared Bowen as he moved away down that right hand side, so Blush is spared. But there was nobody in claret and blue alert to what Jared Bowen was trying to do as he darted down the right hand side of the box. Free kick, 0-0.
It was good link up play with Souček, Antonio, and Jared Bowen just not looking across the line. Easy decision for the assistant referee on the far side. Jared Bowen was probably 2 yards offside, and he said because he was the furthest man forward, Antonio was involved in the build-up, then there's no one in the 6-yard box anyway.
0-0 here on TalkSport 2. 18 gone. Leeds 1, QPR 0. Jayden Bogle up from the back. Leeds have the best home form in the Championship. Calvert-Lewin trying to get forward down the right hand side. It's cleared out of play by Todibo for a throw, but there were West Ham fans claiming that Calvert-Lewin pushed his man to try and get himself into position. Not given by Stuart Atwell, our referee, this afternoon. So Ashley Young with a throw in, level with the edge of the penalty area on this near side, the Everton right, as they're attacking the Sir Trevor Brooking stand where the Everton fans are. Good throw in from Young, finds Mangala in space, pulls it across the face of goal, but it's cleared away by Todibo. Only as far as Doucouré, and then Gay tucks it back to Branthwaite on halfway. Good throw in from Ashley Young.
Yeah, it was just Mangala again on the overlap, just coming, get himself into the 18-yard box, and what he should be doing, Dan, just firing it across 6-yard box.
Oh, Iliman and Jai, great feet, tries to pass it into the area and find Calvert-Lewin, but it was rescued for West Ham by a combination of Todibo and Wan-Bissaka. Now it's with Guido Rodriguez guarding it back into midfield, floated for Paquetá, lays it off neatly to Emerson, and West Ham feed the ball into the Everton half. It's Somerville up against Young, cuts in from the left-hand side, up to the edge of the area, tries to play a 1-2 with Paquetá, but the return ball wasn't good enough, and Everton cleared their lines. 0-0, throw in.
It's the first time the West Ham fans had something to get their voices behind. Good breakdown left-hand side, just rolled out from Emerson out to Somerville. Somerville just cut inside Ashley Young. I thought he should take the shot on Dance from about 20 yards. Just tried to play a little 1-2 with Paquetá, and in the end Paquetá couldn't find Somerville. But it's the first time in up to 20 minutes to say that the West Ham fans have got to the edge of their seat.
20 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. West Ham United 0, Everton 0. In Scotland, Hibs 0, St Mirren 1. Conor McMenamin puts the Buddies ahead. Here is Jean-Claude Todibo. Passes up to the halfway line, and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now Bowen gives it back to Wan-Bissaka, just inside the Everton half of the field, over on the far side from us. Given back infield to Rodriguez. He floats the ball off cross very nicely to find Emerson, who was level with the penalty area but has to come away and infield. Finds Antonio. Now Paquetá with a cross from the left wing. It's volleyed clear by Keane, but only as far as Wan-Bissaka, who's urged to get forward by the West Ham fans, but he's got a couple of players trying to nick the ball off him, Njai and Doucouré, and in the end Njai fouls Jared Bowen, who was trying to turn away on the right wing, and West Ham have a chance to put the ball in the box here with a free kick. 21 gone, 0-0.
I think you heard an ironic shout from the West Ham fans for Wan-Bissaka to shoot, who's about 45 yards out, because Jordan Pickford has had a save to make in the Everton goal. Good play from Wan-Bissaka, just a couple of Michael Flatley foot overs, just trying to get out to Jared Bowen. Said Njai coming back, tracking back, and just took Jared Bowen's standing leg away. So now a free kick for West Ham over on their right hand side. Looks like it's Somerville going to whiff it in with his right foot out swinging.
He looks to be the favourite. West Ham have it on the right hand side, about 25 yards from the dead ball line. Everton holding their line ahead of the penalty spot, and in comes Somerville. Deep cross to the far post, and well claimed by Pickford, not under any real pressure, but still caught it comfortably. And we're still waiting for a gilt-edged chance. We had that break where Doucouré saw his attempted shot blocked on goal, but that's it so far. 0-0. Here come Everton again, releasing Calvert-Lewin down the inside left channel. Todibo goes out to engage him. Calvert-Lewin holds onto it, nicks it in field to Njai. Njai knows he's got Wan-Bissaka at his back, so he plays a 1-2 and then brings the ball neatly in field. He's doing well, the former Sheffield United and Marseille man. Now Ashley Young, right hand side, early cross just ahead of Doucouré, headed out by Kilman, but it'll still be Everton's ball. West Ham just can't pick up the second balls when they clear their lines. Young plays the ball in field to Doucouré. Now Lindstrom gives it to Doucouré again, chance to measure a cross in from by the corner flag on this right hand side. Instead he's giving it back to Lindstrom. First time ball in from Young, headed wide by Njai. It's a goal kick. It is currently West Ham 0, Everton 0, and for the latest odds, just head to William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get West Ham to win at 13-10, Everton to win at 5-2, and the draw at 19-10. That's all thanks to William Hill. 18 plus, and the website you need so you can learn how to gamble responsibly is begambleaware.org. Ian Danter and Perry Groves with you. 23 minutes gone, so we're midway through the first half of the London Stadium, and it's like the night before Christmas because all is quiet at the London Stadium. Free kick given to West Ham. Somebody's got to get these West Ham fans off their seats and get them enthused. Chesterfield 0, Accrington Stanley 1 in League 2. Josh Woods puts Stanley in front, and Forest Green, who are doing much better under Steve Cottrell in the National League after relegation, they lead at Maidenhead by a 1-0. in the Premier League. Brentford 0, Bournemouth 1, Wolves 1, Southampton 0. Those are the goals we have elsewhere in the top flight. None here so far at the London Stadium, but here comes Kilman out to the left-hand side for West Ham, and Emerson being forced back by Ashley Young and gives the ball to Rodriguez on halfway. He plays the ball along the line from left to right, seeking out Wan-Bissaka. Bowen stationed out on the right wing, calling for it. Gets it now, the captain. Moves in field, and he's got support out on that right hand side from Antonio, who's ready for a cross in the box if Antonio's out there.
Dance, you just, as Meatloaf once said, took the words right out of my mouth, because you don't need Antonio out on that left hand side. You want him to play in central, so West Ham have something to play off. So when Bowen comes inside, he can't play a little give and go. There's no 1-2. Again, West Ham had the ball.
Oh, heavy touch from Fabianski, and he got away with it by toe poking the ball out to the left hand side, and Kilman. There were 3 Everton shirts suddenly converging on Lucas Fabianski as he collected the ball just outside his 18-yard box. His first touch was heavy, and that encouraged the Everton players to go in on him.
Dance, that started from a West Ham attack, which was over on the right hand side with Jared Bowen on the right wing. It went back. The next pass was back to Fabianski. He takes heavy touch, and you can, I was going to say there isn't an atmosphere in here. Well, over 60,000 people here. You'd think it was at a theatre.
Or one of my gigs. Anyway, it's back on halfway with James Tarkowski. Diagonal ball out to the left hand side, looking for Mikalenko. He did really well to cushion a header to keep it in play as he was backpedaling, but he couldn't find Iliman Ndiaye, and West Ham
and Tyler Adams before the ball came across, so we haven't yet re-kicked off, but when it fell to Wissa at the far post, he was able to head home. Brentford have certainly improved since going behind. It really woke them up. They had one chance with Janelt's snapshot from a through ball by Damsgaard. Smart save then by Kepa. We are still waiting for the verdict here, but as things stand, Wissa has got the home side back on level terms. Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1.
Goals elsewhere in the National League. Rochdale 1, Sutton 0, Ryan East on 22. Both those sides were involved in home defeats, narrow home defeats to EFL opposition in the FA Cup last week. Rochdale beaten 4-3.
Johan Visser has got the bees back level, and Peterborough lead Cambridge in the Cambridgeshire derby. Ricky J. Jones makes it Peterborough 1, Cambridge United 0.
Danson, the camera just panned over to Sir Trevor Brooking.
What they could do with him out there, even now.
How exactly, like a little bit of flair and imagination. Again, the ball's gone back to Fabianski.
Now Tarkowski, he tried to send the ball into the area for Calvert-Lewin, who was free, but he overhit it straight into the arms of Fabianski, who's grateful for having the ball presented to him so easily. Tarkowski saw where Calvert-Lewin was inside him, but the ball was nowhere near him.
Danson, a Premier League player, even with Tarkowski who's a centre half, should be able to chip the ball 20 yards to his teammate. That's all he had to do. And he just completely shanked it, goes straight through to Fabianski. That sort of sums up this first 27 and a half minutes, where neither team basically could pass water at the moment.
0-0 here. We've played 27 minutes on TalkSport 2. Stevenage 1, Reading 0 in League 1. Daniel Kemp puts Borough ahead at the Lamex. Here at the London Stadium, Ndiaye in possession for Everton. Inside his own half, plays it across to Ashley Young. You've got 22 very nervous players out there. Nobody looks like they're playing with any sort of freedom of expression. But away down the left-hand side suddenly goes Mikalenko for Everton. Across the facing on, looking for Calvert-Lewin, and Tadebo's there to put it behind for Everton's first corner of the afternoon. And Mikalenko, the Ukrainian, puts his thumbs up to his defenders, who found him with a super diagonal ball.
That was the first bit of quality seen from James Tarkowski, just picking the ball up right side centre half. As you said, just switch play over to Mikalenko. Mikalenko took too long. As the ball just bounced up, he should have hit it first time with his left foot across the 6-yard box where Calvert-Lewin's unmarked. Just takes too long, bounces 3 times, gets blocked at the near post. Corner for Everton out on the left-hand side.
Which Lindstrom's going to take, right-footed in swinger, looking for Doucouré at the near post, but Paquetá got there first. Clears away, but couldn't find a teammate. It's out of play for an Everton throw, 0-0.
Okay, Lindstrom, that's your chance is gone. That's the second time he's taken a set piece, second time he's hit Paquetá. All you've got to do is just get it. How tall's Paquetá? 5'8", 5'9"?
I've not
It's
looked.
not difficult.
No.
Stop. Looks like he's about 6'8" at the near post at the minute.
Stockport 1, Bolton 0 in that Greater Manchester derby in League One. Will Collar putting Stockport in front. They started the day in 10th in League One. Grimsby lead at AFC Wimbledon as well. In League Two, Danny Rose puts Grimsby 1 up at Plough Lane. And Jai for Everton. Darted down the left-hand side, gets to the byline, pulls the crossover, decent cross, nodded down by Idrissa Gueye, gets it back from Mangala, plays it back to the edge of the area, nobody there in a blue shirt. Everton get it half clear, Ashley Young strikes it at goal, it's deflected away, comes out to the left-hand side for Everton now. Mangala misses out, Doucouré, now Young puts it into the box, the heads go up, it's half cleared by West Ham. Paquetá can turn at the edge of his own penalty area and feed it out to Wan-Bissaka in the right back area. Somerville scurrying out to the right wing and does brilliantly to keep the ball in possession. Drops his shoulder to get away from a couple of challenges and passes out left to Antonio. Lopetegui urging all of his players to get forward into the opposition half. As Rodriguez finds Paquetá just ahead of the centre circle. The impetus of that attack has slowed down though for West Ham. Kilman just 10 yards inside the Everton half of the field. Again squares it for Rodriguez. Further across for Thomas Souček. Souček moving down the inside right channel. Has got Wan-Bissaka right side of him. Now Bowen takes over. Right hand corner of the area. Souček still out there with them. Back in field it goes to Rodriguez. Somerville in the centre of the Everton half. Being very patient now West Ham. Trying to keep possession, which they've not been very good at in these opening 30 minutes. Here on TalkSport 2. Barrow 1, Colchester 0. Elliot Newby.
Side.
No VAR in League 2. Goal stands. Ball in field. Rodriguez trying to get away from his defender. Now a touch from Bowen. Just can't ride the challenge of Branthwaite. Souček chips the ball out to the left wing. Emerson should be able to keep it in play down by the corner flag, and he does. Ashley Young there with him. Emerson rolls it back to Somerville. Somerville plays the ball in field to Paquetá. First on ball for Antonio, who tries an ambitious back heel to get Emerson in on the overlap, and that's comfortable for Pickford to pick up. 0-0.
Yeah, that was West Ham's best passing move of the game. So we're getting into the 32nd minute, but they actually strung more than 5 or 6 passes together. But in the end, it comes into, said there, Mikel Antonio, just a very extravagant back heel, trying to reach Emerson, just gives the ball away. I'm looking at West Ham, Dance, and if Everton have a little bit more belief about themselves, and they've got to find that quality in the final third. West Ham are waiting to be scored against. You know, they're just starting to sit that sort of little bit deeper. But yeah. Everton have got themselves into the final third, especially in this right-hand side where it's come out to Gueye a couple of times, Mangala a couple of times, and they just got to make sure they whip the ball across 6-yard box and they keep hitting the first man.
That's exactly what I thought when I watched Bristol City against Leeds United a couple of weeks ago. I don't think they believed enough that they could beat Leeds. In the end, it was a 0-0 draw. That's what we have here at the London Stadium. 32 minutes played in the first half on TalkSport 2. My goodness, it's tense round here. I mean, there's no joy whatsoever to be had. It's almost like the fans are waiting for something to get upset about, and they may not be that far away. Either set of supporters, whether it's the travelling contingent of Everton away to our right or the rest of the fans inside this huge bowl of a stadium.
Well, I was going to say that for the West Ham fans, it's been a bit of a nail biter, but I don't really think the West Ham fans can be bothered to bite their nails.
No.
There's just nothing going on whatsoever. There's no urgency in West Ham's play. There's no running off the ball. There's no people coming short to go long. Everything is very lateral. Actually, to be fair, Lopetegui made a couple of good runs, didn't he, across his technical area, where he's just urging these two centre halves.
And he broke his toe a few weeks back, so he's done well.
From that little quarter zone, just to get him through it.
Leyton Orient 1, Blackpool 0 in League One. Sonny Perkins. St Mirren 2-0 up at Hibs. Conor McMenamin again for the Buddies. And Peterborough have doubled their lead against Cambridge at London Road. Kwame Poku gets the second goal for Peterborough. Sutton equalise at Rochdale in the National League. That's 1-1.
This is Troy Deeney's fault, you know. I spoke to Troy and Aid and Dean Ashton, you know, before we come on here on TalkSport, and Troy Deeney went, yeah, it's one of those games going to be a bit boring, could be a 0-0. I think thanks that for Troy.
There's a long time left. There's still 12 minutes of the first half and the rest of the second half to go. Come on.
It needs someone to have a shot in anger, doesn't it? It needs someone to just show that spark. That
we
bit
had
of
that
urgency.
moment where Doucouré was played in, and it was a brilliant bit of defending from Wan-Bissaka to stop him getting a shot on target. West Ham trying to win the ball back high up the field, but Mangala turns away and fires it out to Ash Leong on this near touchline. Lofts it down the right wing looking for Lindstrom, but that's come to be dealt with a cushion header by Emerson. Paquetá lets the ball over the top looking for Bowen, trying to get in between Mikalenko and Branthwaite. Goes down, bit theatrically, wanted a foul. Stuart Atwell waved it away. Idrissa Gueye down the left hand side for Everton. Ball goes out off Wan-Bissaka for an Everton throw. Motherwell 2-0 up on St Johnstone in Scotland this afternoon. Remember, in the Premier League right now, Bournemouth and Brentford, they're level at 1 apiece at the G-Tech, and Wolves still a goal to the good against Southampton. And Portsmouth at the bottom of the table in the Championship have just taken the lead against Preston. Former Oxford man Josh Murphy has put Pompey in front at Fratton Park. Throw to Everton on halfway. And this is not a snooker match that we're watching, it is a Premier League football match in front of over 60,000.
Well, if it was, there'd be a lot of safety play going on, wouldn't there?
My word. Good half. Here's Ashley Young down the right hand side, rolls the ball in field for Calvert-Lewin. Now Lindstrom takes it off his toe. Oh, he's trying to thread it in for Doucouré. He gets the pass all wrong. This time it shanks off the outside of his boot, and Fabianski has a comfortable pick-up. And now the West Ham fans are trying to wake themselves and their team up. 0-0, 10 to half time.
Well, when it comes through, it's a really poor ball from Lindstrom, goes to Fabianski. You want your goalkeeper to have a little bit more urgency so that he can throw the ball out and set a counter-attack up, but not one West Ham player showed for the ball. The two centre-halves, Todibo and Kilman split, didn't really want it.
Bowen floats the ball out to Somerville, brings the ball down on his chest, midway point of the Everton half. Emerson going on the overlap, but Somerville goes in field, tries to find the ball into the box. Souček, can he lay it off to Bowen at the edge of the area, rolling his foot at the ball? Souček plays it across to Paquetá, who was trying to lay it off to the invisible man at the edge of the D, and Everton clear their lines. Kept in play on this near side by Emerson. Good approach play for the most part by West Ham, but then Souček just dwelt on the ball too long inside the box.
All he's got to do, Wan-Bissaka's just making a brilliant overlap on his right hand side. He's got to make sure he either rolls it to him or he helps it in the 6-yard box, takes 4 touches, gets closed down, just gets a toe poke away, and then West Ham end up another 40 yards further away from the goal.
Young presents the ball to Emerson, left hand side, comes in field for West Ham. Ambitious shot blocked comfortably by Tarkowski, comes out to Rodriguez, centre of the half. Now Wan-Bissaka playing a 1-2 with Bowen, getting away down the right, tries to send a first time crossing, blocked by Njai, and now Njai trying to go the other way, and there's a slip from Rodriguez that allows Njai to get up to halfway. Now Wan-Bissaka's back goal side for West Ham. Njai still has it, making tracks down the left hand side, looking for Doucouré, but Todibo won it back that time. Goals going in elsewhere. Sunderland 2, Coventry 0, and the decision to dismiss Mark Robbins not paying immediate dividends for Coventry. Dennis Sirkin puts the Championship leaders 2 up, and Bristol Rovers 1, Lincoln 0, Shack 4. That's in League 1. Here in the Premier League, 0-0, 8 minutes to half time. Everton in possession with Orel Mangala. Now Lindstrom gives it back to Mangala. Little pass backwards the square for Jared Branthwaite. Diving the ball into the box, looking for Calvert-Lewin, but that's a comfortable catch for Fabianski this time.
Yeah, just too lofty there from Jared Branthwaite, just trying to ping it over to Calvert-Lewin, who's peeled to the right-hand side of the penalty area.
It's a poor clearance though from Fabianski. Didn't get the distance or the purchase he wanted on the clearance.
He just looks like a bag of nerves, Fabianski, doesn't he? Like when the ball's at his feet, he's looked very uneasy. As you said there, his distribution was really poor.
And he made some important saves when you and I were here for that Manchester United game a couple of weeks ago. He fully justified getting the nod with Areola out injured. And yet today, as you say, he looks nowhere near as confident as somebody with all of his experience might normally do. Ball's back with James Tarkowski for Everton, midway point of his own half. Flicks it in field to Gueye. He'll lay it off to Branthwaite. Into the feet of Gueye, but under pressure from Antonio, turns it back to the goalkeeper. Peterborough 3, Cambridge 0. So Cambridge with 5 straight wins in all competitions, coming back to earth with a bump in the local derby. Kwame Poku with a second of the afternoon and Peterborough's third. Branthwaite out to Mikolenko, left hand side, knocks it up to halfway, well protected by Calvert-Lewin, and he's under pressure from Todibo. Does he want to throw for Everton? He has, just inside his own half. So Lopetegui won just 4 games out of the 12 he's had as West Ham manager since his July appointment. He only won 10 out of the 27 he had at Wolverhampton Wanderers. But remember, he did win the Europa League when he was Sevilla manager. So he has done great things in club football. He was Spanish manager until just before the World Cup in Russia, and then they found out
he was off to Real Madrid.
And they couldn't wait to get rid of him. And then came Fernando Hierro. Derby County 1, Plymouth Argyle 1. Adam Randall gets Plymouth back level in the Championship at Pride Park. Here's Orel Mangala for Everton in the centre circle. Passes out left to Mikolenko. And Jai out there with him. Back in field it goes to Mangala. And Jai takes over. 5 to the break on TalkSport 2. West Ham 0, Everton 0. Doucouré can't get past Souček, goes out left to Mikolenko, measures a crossing, looking for Calvert-Lewin, goes beyond him. Lindstrom couldn't pick up the second ball, but the clearance from West Ham only finds Everton shirts once again.
Just looking at West Ham down to an out of possession, there's no intensity to go and close down.
Ball in from Young, headed goalwards by Calvert-Lewin. You just let the ball hit his head, and it was a very comfortable save for Fabianski. 0-0. Go on, Perry.
It's just very easy for Everton when they're in possession, especially when they're in the middle third, where it's Gay and Mangala are just like passing it between themselves. Then it comes out to the right hand side, then they go back inside again to the centre half, comes out to the right, gets the cross in. Unfortunately, Calvert-Lewin can't get a decent header, but there's no impetus from West Ham at all in this game.
Idrissa Gueye picks it up centre field, works it up to the edge of the area, looking for Calvert-Lewin, but Kilman dealt with it well. Back comes Somerville, but he's lost out. Lindstrom passes the ball into the area, calmly done by Max Kilman, and Souček will try and bring it away, assisted by now Wan-Bissaka. Gets up to the halfway line and finds his captain Bowen, who brings the ball into the Everton half of the field on the far side. Antonio goes ahead of him just inside, but Bowen's forced to go back.
You can hear the frustration.
Halfway, you can.
Nothing from, again, I don't know why, but Mikel Antonio, he's gone out onto the right wing. Aaron Wan-Bissaka's end up in centre forward. Now the rotation's great if you're passing slick and you're moving the ball quickly. Joe Bowen went back another 20 yards, comes back to the centre halves, and you could hear the frustration from the West Ham faithful.
Paquetá tucks the ball in field. Does he? No, he'll flick it down the left hand side for Somerville. Emerson gives it back to Paquetá, just a bit in field, midway point of the Everton half. Back it goes to Kilman. Tranmere 1, Newport 0 in League 2. Connor Jennings. As the ball goes back to halfway, you listen to West Ham 0, Everton 0 on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Enterprise has vans of all shapes and sizes, so if you've got a plan, they've got a van. Bowen trying to latch onto a ball sent down the right hand side, but a very comfortable defensive header for Vitaly Mikolenko to guide it back to Jordan Pickford. 3 minutes to half time, 0-0.
Mikolenko's been very good in his defensive duties. Every time that Joe Bowen's made a run, he's made sure he's tracked him. You said there, just tracked his run, just headed back to Jordan Pickford.
I think it's down the left hand side where Everton look liveliest with Mikolenko and Njai. Ball goes in field to Mangala. Now Gay around the centre spot. Fires it out to Ashley Young on this near side. Gives it straight to Lindstrom on the right wing, but he can't get past Emerson, so back it goes via Ashley Young and back into the Everton half. Crawley 1, Huddersfield 0. Russian Hepburn Murphy puts Crawley ahead. Not back to Mangala, just ahead of the halfway line. He flashes short into Doucouré. Now it's fired out to Jesper Lindstrom on the right hand side. He's got a bit of space to maybe run at Emerson. Tried it, but then Emerson blocked it. Came out to Young. First time cross, goes beyond everyone and beyond the far post, but Mikolenko can pick it up for Everton, puts it back across the face of goal over the head of Lindstrom. Young tries an ambitious volley inside the area and he goes down with Somerville. They're both down in a heap after a swing and a miss from Ashley Young, and West Ham bring it clear, and Antonio sorts his feet out just over the halfway line and he's running at Jarrod Branthwaite, trying to go on the outside of Branthwaite. He's still got it, Antonio lays it off to Bowen inside the area, gets a shot away, brilliant save Pickford at his near post to turn it behind for a West Ham corner as the home side turned defence into attack for the best chance they've had all game. 0-0.
West Ham's best counter-attack. Just Antonio giving Tarkowski the run around. Tarkowski goes and tries to win the ball. Antonio just rolls him. Then he's 1v1 against Jared Branthwaite. Jared Branthwaite goes to the floor, tries to slide tackle him. Managed to ride that, gets it out to Jared Bowen on the right-hand side. Goes on the outside of Mikolenko, gets his right foot shot away. Really good save from Jordan Pickford at his near post, big left palm. Corner for West Ham, over on their right.
Portsmouth 2, Preston 0 in the Championship. Conor Ogilvie has doubled Pompey's lead. Here is the corner kick for West Ham United, although the referee Stuart Upwell wants a word with one or two players inside the penalty area. It is an absolutely packed 6-yard box. You've got Somerville and Wan-Bissaka stood hands on hips at the edge of the area unmarked. I wonder whether the ball's going to get rolled back to either of them by Emerson, who's going to take this corner kick, while Stuart Atwell's dealing with the pushing and shoving inside the 6-yard area.
To be fair, it's like the Royal Rumble dance at the minute, isn't it?
It is. Who's going to go over the top rope? West Ham or Everton? Heading towards half-time, in towards added time. Deep corner from Emerson to the far post. Paquetá headed it goalwards, headed away from goal by Lindstrom. It was on target, but there was no real power in the header. Pickford would have been stood behind him. Ball's floated downfield, looking for a West Ham head, but Everton have it back. And we're about to find out how much added time. Just 1 minute of minimum stoppage time. What can Everton do with this minute? Because they've just won a throw, midway point of the West Ham half, and Idrissa Gueye wants to get on with it. Tries to throw it in field, he gets it back, finds Ashley Young, tucks it back to halfway, and Tarkowski. Oh, he's picked out by Jared Bowen, who picks off Tarkowski's pass, running at Branthwaite. Gets to the edge of the area, has to check his run for a moment. Still Bowen, floats it into Antonio. Angles tight, tries to get round Pickford, and Pickford makes another save, this time with his legs. And it's a corner to West Ham again, right at the end of the half, 0-0.
Yeah, the angle just a little bit too tight. Just Ashley Young roll it, and Tarkowski just gives the ball away to Jared Bowen. Jared Bowen's 1v1 and Jared Branthwaite just tries to hold him up. Just then Antonio just running from the centre to that right hand side, tries to go around Pickford. The angle just a little bit too tight. Pickford saves it with his feet on the byline. Corner of West Ham over on their right.
Again, Emerson will swing it in left-footed, and again there's loads of bodies in the 6-yard area. Comes in from Emerson, headed away by Tarkowski, and there goes the whistle for half-time. And listen to that, total apathy around the London Stadium. There's no boos that I can discern, there's no mad round.
Aiming at his players at some point to get forward. The West Ham players do not look like they are playing for that manager and not fighting for him at the moment.
No, they don't look like they believe in what he's asking them to do, because, as you said, they're at home, okay? So Everton aren't known for their free-flowing football and, you know, playing out from the back and coming through the lines, but in the middle third, there is no pressure on the ball whatsoever. Mangala and Idrissa Gueye, they're sort of dominating proceedings. They can get it out to the right-hand side to Lindstrom, they can get it out to Njai on the left-hand side. But Sean Dyche will be thinking, right, okay, we've gone at 0-0, we've kept a clean sheet. Jordan Pickford hasn't been really that big. It took West Ham to the 44th minute to have a serious shot on goal where Jared Bowen goes on the outside of Mikolenko with his right foot, and it's a good save from Jordan Pickford down to his left-hand side. But I think, I say he's waiting for a spark, and I must admit as well, if I'm Jack Harrison sitting on the bench for Everton, I've seen Lindstrom have that first half where he kept giving the ball away, his free kicks are really poor. So both teams look like they need a spark, they need that little bit of energy, and what of the two managers is going to be brave to make that decision? Because they need a spark. I'm looking at West Ham, they've got Danny Ings on the bench. One thing that Danny Ings will give you, he will give you work rate, he will give you industry, he will threaten behind. That's not happening. Mikel Antonio has been finding himself out on the left wing, out on the right wing, and if you're West Ham players, you're saying to centre forward, what are you doing? Stay in the middle so I've got something to play off of. Again, I don't think there's a lot of communication between the West Ham players. Paquetá is sort of jogging basically, he gets interested when it's around Everton's 18-yard box, which hasn't been that much, so he's not giving you very much. Jared Bowen looks a threat when you get it out to him, but again, 4 or 5 times at it on the right hand side, and he's actually come back 20 yards and another 20 and ends up back at Fabianski. So say it's been lacking really for a Premier League game. Both teams have been giving the ball away far too easily. I think both teams have knocked the ball out of play 3 times each when under no pressure, when they just should be passing it 20 yards. So the quality hasn't been that great, but I just look at the two teams, and Sean Dyche will be Sanji's Everton side. Let's play with a bit more intensity, let's get the ball forward quicker. Can we get better quality into the box? Because, say, this West Ham team are there for the taking, basically.
Perry, Dance, thank you very much indeed. Go and grab yourselves a cup of tea. The second half commentary of West Ham 0, Everton 0 is to come. And if this was the performance that was supposed to prove to the West Ham fans the worth of Lopetegui, they certainly haven't seen it so far. Second half to come of that, but it's time now to look ahead to tonight's Premier League action with Sky Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games, available with no contract, on now. Like Brighton versus Man City, live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
The 5:30 kick-off in the Premier League is Brighton against the champions Manchester City. TalkSport's Ian Abrahams is at the Amex for us. Ian, 3 straight away defeats for Manchester City, and this is a tricky looking away game given how Brighton have started. How close are we to panic mode for Manchester City?
Oh, I don't think we need to panic just yet. I mean, Pep's never lost 4 games in a row as a manager anywhere, so I don't think that we need to completely panic yet, although Brighton are on their best start to a season at home in the top flight for 42 years. That was at the Goldstone Ground way before you were born, Ollie, when they also went 5 unbeaten at the start of the season at home. But this is a big test for today. They haven't been recently that good in terms of holding on to leads. I was here when they were 2-0 up against Wolves last time out in the Premier League, and it finished 2-2, and then obviously they had the lead at Liverpool last week and were beaten as well. So let's see what happens today, but I think the team sheets will be very interesting in terms of what players Pep can select from today.
And we'll bring you that team news when it's out. The thing about Brighton though, Ian, that I'm finding really impressive, and you're right to say about them losing leads in some of those games, but they play without fear as well. They've gone up to Newcastle and they've got all 3 points from St James's Park this season.
Difficult.
Knew that was coming. So many other really impressive results from them, and you feel that it'll be that kind of Brighton side under Hertzler that will take on this Man City side once again without any fear of what could happen.
Yeah, well, listen, you're watching 2 teams this afternoon who are absolutely paralysed by playing with fear. And, you know, I'd much rather see my team go out there, whoever my team might be, and play without fear, win, lose or draw, but actually give it a go and have a chance of winning the game than be completely paralysed by, you know, if a Brighton team went onto the pitch today, thought, oh, we're playing Man City, they're the champions, they've won it for the last 4 years, and oh look, they've got Erling Haaland who can't stop scoring goals in his entire career, we've got no chance today. There will be absolutely no point in playing this game. So Fabian Hertzler, a bit like De Zerbi before him and Graham Potter before him, very much takes the view that, you know, we are going to go toe to toe to a certain extent. We're going to play the game that we want to play, and we are going to try and be on the front foot. It might work sometimes, it might not work on other occasions, but, you know, you're not going to die wondering. Whereas, you know, what's the point in everyone being sitting here bored to tears for 85 minutes until finally City, who've had the ball for 94% of the time, actually score the goal that wins the game? There's no point in that. No one's going to sign up to come watch that football, so you may as well have a go and see where that takes you.
Moose, enjoy the game. That was a look ahead to this afternoon's Premier League action with Sky Sports. Don't forget, you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Brighton against Man City, live today. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games, available with no contract, on now. Like Brighton versus Man City, live today. Search Now Sports. 18 plus, stream via internet, terms apply.
This is game day exclusive on TalkSport 2, second half action of West Ham 0, Everton 0 coming up next, and we'll bring you the half-time scores from across the Premier League and EFL.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the English Football League. Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has 450 branches with all the vehicles your business needs.
You don't just check in to a village hotel. You work out. You jump in. You play on. You tuck in. and drink up. Village Hotels, 33 locations with everything under one roof. A huge gym with pool and great membership opportunities. And a buzzing pub and grill with delicious food, ice-cold beers and live sport. Check out villagehotels.com and work out, stay, meet and play.
Settle down for a night of crime. Witness a heist. Follow a car chase. Eat too much popcorn. Meet a mafia boss. Join in on a bank robbery. Think about making a cup of tea. Be too comfortable to get up. For less.
Selected IKEA sofas are now at a new lower price, along with thousands of other products. IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
Football is back and it's game on. Get the ultimate football coverage with the Sun's free pull-out goals. With the best writers pitchside for in-depth match reports, it's all about goals. And with unrivaled news from the Premier League to League Two, it has to be goals. Stay up to date on all the latest football action. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday, only in the Sun.
$1.39 at McDonald's gets you a delicious cheeseburger. $1.39 at a concert gets you... Testing. McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth. From 11 a.m. Price and participation may vary. Price varies on delivery, subject to availability.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game, cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win!
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Screwfix Sprint delivers from store to door in 60 minutes or less. So, whatever the job, you can do it with less waiting and more working. Less downtime and more doing. So don't break your stride. Screwfix Sprint. Order now exclusively on a Screwfix app. £5 delivery charge, no minimum spend. Don't stop. Sprint. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply. Selected products.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Stream the biggest Premier League games. Available with no contract.
TalkSport 2, official broadcast partner of the Premier League and the English Football League.
This is Game Day.
Halftime classifieds.
This is Game Day exclusive at the London Stadium. I'm Ollie Klink. Thanks for being with us this Saturday. It's a busy afternoon across the country. Time for the half-time classified, starting with
Premier League.
It's Brentford 1, Bournemouth 1 at half-time in the top flight. Elsewhere, Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 1. Here at the London Stadium, live on TalkSport 2, it's West Ham 0, Everton 0. It's Wolves 1, Southampton 0 elsewhere. Later on tonight at 5:30, it's Brighton against Manchester City. And then later, live on TalkSport, you can hear Liverpool against Aston Villa at 8 o'clock.
Sky Bet Championship.
In the Championship earlier on today, it finished Cardiff 1, Blackburn 3, Middlesbrough 5, Luton 1, which you heard live here on TalkSport 2, and Stoke 1, Millwall 1 in the early kickoffs. Half time in the 3 o'clocks, it's Derby 1, Plymouth 1, Leeds 1, QPR 0, Norwich 0, Bristol City 1, Portsmouth 2, Preston 0, and Sunderland 2, Coventry 0.
Sky Bet League 1.
Earlier in League One, it finished Burton 2, Shrewsbury 0, Wrexham 1, Mansfield 0 as well. And half-time in those 3 o'clocks, Birmingham 0, Northampton 0, Bristol Rovers 1, Lincoln 0, Crawley 1, Huddersfield 0, Exeter 0, Charlton 0, Leyton Orient 1, Blackpool 0, Peterborough 4, Cambridge United 0, Stevenage 1, Reading 0, Stockport 1, Bolton 0, and Wigan 0, Wycombe 1.
Sky Bet League 2.
Earlier in League 2, it finished Harrogate 1, Morecambe 2 and Salford 0, Carlisle 1. In the 3 o'clocks at half-time, it's Wimbledon 0, Grimsby 1, Barrow 1, Colchester 0, Chesterfield 0, Accrington 1, Doncaster 0, Notts County 1. OK, the teams are coming back out here at the London Stadium. A difficult first half for West Ham United, but it does remain goalless here. Perry Groves is alongside Ian Danter. They're going to take you through all of the action for the second half.
Thanks, Ollie. Players back out. No changes, it would appear, from either manager. Everton were classed as the most likely Premier League away team to earn a draw this weekend. I think it's about 26% likelihood. I think that percentage went up during the course of that first half. So opt to get things right sometimes. Actually, they get things right a lot of the time. But Everton, you sense, don't you, Perry, you're the team that can go up a gear and they've got something in it to change the complexion of this match.
Yeah, very much so. Everton won more Premier League games against West Ham than any other opponent, 29. If they have a bit more belief about themselves, a little bit more urgency, then they could make it 30 Premier League wins against West Ham.
Very interesting half-time team talks, I'm sure, for both managers, Lopetegui and Dyche. Now, at the edge of the area, Calvert-Lewin has won a free kick for Everton. He was brought down. He was just clipped. I think he was clipped there by Emerson. And it's literally a yard outside the penalty area to the right of centre, and a chance for Everton to put the ball into the danger area early in the second half, 0-0.
I think the terminology for Stuart Atwell there is he's actually had one, the referee, because it was good link-up play with Doucouré into Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin just got his touch, and then Emerson has pulled out of it, and Calvert-Lewin looked like he actually tripped himself up. So it's a free kick for Everton, a really dangerous position on the right-hand side of the 18-yard box.
Well, Lindstrom standing over it, and Jai there as well. It would favour a left-footed player to swing it in towards goal, but Everton are not utilising that. Mikalenko stood at the edge of the penalty area. Lindstrom, whose delivery in the first half was not up to scratch. What's he like with this free kick? Pretty much at the right-hand corner of the box. In it comes from Lindstrom, headed over his own crossbar by Kilman for a corner kick to Everton away to our left as they're attacking the Sir Bobby Moore stand in this second half in all blue, with West Ham in their claret and blue.
Was a really good delivery this time from Lindstrom, just in swinging into that 6-yard box. Really good header from Max Kilman in the centre 6-yard box, headed over, corner for Everton on the left-hand side.
To be taken by Jesper Lindstrom. He actually rolls it short to the corner of the box. Ilman and Jai gives it back to Lindstrom, clips it to the far post, up go the heads, nodded down onto the 6-yard line. West Ham desperate to get it clear. Gay puts it back in the box, and then an attempt by Calvert-Lewin almost to chest it towards goal, but it goes comfortably behind for a West Ham goal kick. But maybe that pattern of the second half is trying to show itself early here with 2 minutes gone, still 0-0, but Everton trying to get on the front foot early on.
Yeah, just moving the ball a lot quicker. Just a quick VAR check there. It was a back header from Calvert-Lewin that hit Kilman's hands quite rightly. They've said nothing to see here because it was close proximity and it wasn't in a natural position.
So West Ham clear up to halfway. I'll run you through the lineups in just a second as Everton played the ball forward, but it's chested down by Jean-Claude Todibo. Rodriguez gives it back to Todibo and back to Fabianski. So in front of Fabianski, Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, Emerson, Suchek, Rodriguez, Bowen, Paquetá, Somerville and Antonio. Bowen trying to get in behind Branthwaite, and he's won the ball off Branthwaite up to the edge of the area. Bowen goes for goal, and it's only just widened. It took a deflection on its way wide, so it'll be a corner kick to West Ham United as they show a bit of endeavour at the start of this second half, 0-0.
I know it's too early for pantomime season, but that was a he's behind you moment, because Jarrod Branthwaite was just very, very sloppy as his pocket picked by Jarrod Bowen and just gets it onto his left foot, just a slight deflection.
Yeah, Tarkowski got the touch.
Yeah, Tarkowski goes for a corner for West Ham on their left.
Right-footed in swinger to come, flicked on at Bowen at the near post, and it was Mikalenko at the far post that helped to get it clear for Everton. Ball skied into the air by Wan-Bissaka, drops just outside the box. There's an Everton player down with a head injury, I think it's Mangala. Pickford is the Everton keeper. Young, Tarkowski, Branthwaite, Mikalenko, Mangala and Gay, Lindstrom, Doucouré and Njai, with Calvert-Lewin in attack. And it was Ashley Young, actually, I beg your pardon, who was caught. Brentford 1, Bournemouth 2. Justin Kluivert has put Bournemouth back in front at the G-Tech in the Premier League. Stockport 2, Bolton 0 in that Greater Manchester derby. Kyle Wootton, that's in League 1. And in the Championship, Preston get a goal back at Portsmouth. It's Portsmouth 2, Preston 1. Emil Rees, drop ball for Everton, and they get play back underway at 0-0.
Ashley Young there has gone down easier than a three-legged mountain goat. Honestly, there was hardly a touch on the back of his shoulder.
Are you suggesting housery, Mr. Groves?
It's just unusual. You mentioned before that Ashley Young learnt his trade, didn't he, under Sean Dyche at Watford in the Championship, which is very, very physical. Just find it a bit embarrassing, to be honest.
Fabianski clears right-footed for West Ham. 0-0. We've played 5 minutes of the second half. Cheltenham lead Bromley by a goal to 0 in League 2. Ethan Archer for the Robins. Mikalenko for Everton in the left-back position. Floats it up for Calvert-Lewin. He tried to get the flick on, but he got no purchase on the header at all. West Ham want a free kick for a foul, but play on, says Stuart Atwell. And Calvert-Lewin has it in the left wing and a bit of space to gallop into. Can he find a teammate with a cross? He can find Lindstrom running across the line, but he didn't get the header on target. It was a good 4 or 5 yards wide. And West Ham will get a goal kick, and they'll get some treatment to their injured player. 0-0.
Yeah, big round of applause from Sean Dyche. Good build-up play into Doucouré. Doucouré just taking a good touch out to Calvert-Lewin. And you want the roles reversed there. You want Lindstrom the one on the left-hand side. Calvert-Lewin coming in the centre-forward position. So Lindstrom just coming in from that left-hand side. Ends up hitting his shoulder. Doesn't hit the target. But Everton have started off a lot more positive in this second half than West Ham. I think you probably can tell from Sean Dyche the way that he's not normally that animated on the touchline, but he will get a feeling that if his team can just up it and up the tempo, that West Ham are here for the taking.
2-2 at the G-Tech now in the Premier League. Brentford equalise again. Mikkel Damsgaard. Brentford 2, Bournemouth 2. But it's 0-0 here at the London Stadium. Remember, Wolves still 1-0 up against Southampton. Palace and Fulham still goalless at Selhurst Park in the other 3 o'clock kickoff. Later today, as you just heard from Moose at half-time, Brighton against Manchester City. Regular updates of that game on TalkSport with the game day phone-in. Whilst here on TalkSport 2, it's the first T20 between West Indies and England. West Indies won the one-day series. How will England get on in the shorter format? That's tonight on TalkSport 2. Our coverage will start at 7:30 from the Kensington Oval, Barbados. Free kick to West Ham United, midway point of the Everton half, out on this near side, the right, and it's Somerville who send the ball up to the edge of the 18-yard box, comfortably headed clear by Tarkowski. Somerville tidies up to keep the ball away from Gay, and then Rodriguez sends the ball back to Fabianski, who just clatters it downfield. First time right-footed. Where's that going to drop? Straight on the head of Tarkowski again. Chested down by Rodriguez. Now Bowen trying to get away from 3 challenges. Goes down. Ball's been won back temporarily by Everton, and good skill from Mangala to find Lindstrom. And he drives the ball at left for Abdoulaye Doucouré. Here come Everton. Only 2 up in this move. Doucouré finds Calvert-Lewin down the left-hand side of the box, running away from goal. Keeps possession and feeds it back 20 yards or so for Njai. Now Gay. Into Lindstrom, edge of the D, flicks it out right, good ball. Ashley Young in space, delivers the cross from the right. Calvert-Lewin up at the far post, but Kilman there first to head it behind. And Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 2 now. Emil Smith-Rowe has his second of the afternoon at Selhurst Park. And Everton have a corner at 0-0.
Yeah, it's good play from Everton again. Doucouré getting himself involved into Lindstrom and out onto that right-hand side. Ball comes into the box. Again, it's another really good defensive header from Kilman, because Calvert-Lewin just coming in on the blind side of him. Another corner for Everton on their left-hand side,
which Lindstrom will take. A right-footed in-swinger. Not too many in the 6-yard box this time at that end. Lindstrom drives it very, very deep to the far post. In fact, it's gone beyond everybody. It's an awful corner. Tarkowski might be able to keep it in play by the other corner flag. and does under pressure from Antonio. Oh, great back heel, might get Gay in. The cross is just finding its way through to Mangala, and then the cross comes in, which is cleared away by Wan-Bissaka. Downfield it goes. Wolves 2, Southampton 0 at Molineux. Matheus Cunha. Wolves may well be on their way to their first win of the season. And Peterborough 5, Cambridge 0. Ryan de Havilland with a 5th for the Posh.
Oh, they're flying, aren't they? Now de Havilland scored.
That's your first and your only one that you're allowed this afternoon, all right? No more.
Well, the thing
No
is,
more.
I've said to you, like, there's a couple that I've got, but the game's been that flat, I haven't had to shoehorn them in.
Referee just having a word with Ashley Young at the moment. The cameras here are focusing on Beto, who's warming up down on this near touchline. And you mentioned you were there at St Mary's last week when he came on, looked lively, hit the crossbar just before Southampton got the winner.
And he had a brilliant goal disallowed as well, didn't he? Just for offside.
Whereas a toe offside. But in fairness to Sean Dyche, he wasn't too bothered about the fact that VAR called it offside. Ashley Young's just getting a bit of treatment for the physio. It's just maybe a neck injury or something to the back of his head. Fulham goal's been disallowed. It stays 1-0 to Fulham. Emile Smith-Rowe's second of the afternoon's been chalked off. Stockport 3, Bolton 0. That one counts in the VAR free zone that is the EFL League One. Fraser Horsfall gets the third for Stockport against Bolton.
Another name stat.
Is this on Stockport Bolton?
Stockport are unbeaten in the last 9 league games against fellow sides from the Greater Manchester area. 1-5, drew 4. Now it looks like it'll be 10, winning 6, drawing 4.
3-0 up on Bolton. Doesn't look like a comeback's on the cards for the Trotters this afternoon. So in the Premier League, 2-2 at the G-Tech between Brentford and Bournemouth. 2-0 Wolves at home to Southampton. That would ease the pressure on Gary O'Neill, who we were led to believe is being scrutinised more and more by Jeff Shee and the Wolves board. And as you just heard, Fulham just 1-0 up at Palace.
We'll put the pressure on Russell White, and it's no coincidence, Dance, that Gary O'Neill has gone back to the 3 centre halves, isn't he? Because Ait Nouri and Semedo are better as wing backs.
Back underway with Ashley Young just waiting to come back onto the field. Bowen steps in, wins the ball away from Iliman and Jai. Good run down the right from Wan-Bissaka. Oh, Antonio just couldn't take the ball with him, but he did hold it up in the end. Guided it back to Souček, centre of the Everton half. Now Wan-Bissaka cutting in from the right. Mangala tracking the run. Ball goes backwards of square to Kilman. Now Njai and Emerson combining. Somerville down the left hand side, great run for West Ham into the box, goes down, comes out to the edge of the area, shot driven in from the edge of the box from Rodriguez, and Pickford was equal to it, plunging away to his left hand side. Now Calvert-Lewin trying to turn, he wins the throw for Everton, but a super hit from Rodriguez, but Pickford equal to it, stays 0-0 on TalkSport 2.
Brilliant play from Somerville on the left hand side, just making sure that he's cutting in on his right foot, goes down for what he thought was a penalty, quite rightly shot out where referee just waved play on because it was just a coming together, come out to Rodriguez, really good strike with his right foot, putting his laces through it, just looks like it's curving away from Jordan Pickford. In the end, for Jordan Pickford, it was one for the cameras, good height for the goalkeeper.
It's a better save than I gave it credit for, because it came through a few players. He was slightly unsighted there, Pickford, but a great save all the same. You're listening to West Ham 0, Everton 0 on TalkSport 2 with Sky Sports. Don't forget you can stream the biggest Premier League games available with no contract on now, like Brighton against Manchester City later today. Search Now Sports. Here come West Ham at 0-0. 13 minutes gone in the second half. Paquetá slides it back to Rodriguez on halfway. Brentford 3, Bournemouth 2. They're in front now, Brentford, having been behind twice. Johan Visser, what a game at the G-Tech. 5 goals there, barely 5 attempts at goal here. West Ham 0, Everton 0. Live on TalkSport 2. Don't forget the game day phone in to come at 5:30 over on TalkSport with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. So you can phone and moan or ring and sing about your team's performance. I think a lot of phoning and moaning from those who've been in attendance here today, so far at least. As we approach the hour mark, Pickford smacks a long ball downfield left-footed, can't find Calvert-Lewin, but it will break just over halfway for Vitaly Mikalenko. Now enjoying a bit of space down the left-hand side for the Toffees. Driving towards the dead ball line. Now comes in field. A couple of step overs. Tries to pull it back. Might break for Mikalenko. Fires it wide. And it's going to be a corner to Everton, is it? Corner given by Stuart Atwell. And suddenly the ball was rolled back to the fullback. And it was blocked at source behind for a corner kick. 0-0.
Yeah, good play from Iliman Ndiaye, just coming in from this left-hand side. A couple of foot overs. Just trying to get Wan-Bissaka off balance. Just comes out to Mikalenko. Gets his left foot shot. Good block at the near post. Corner for Everton on the left-hand side, taken by Lindstrom. Just make sure that he misses Pakatara at the near post.
Right-footed in-swinger to come from Lindstrom. This time it goes to the back post, headed out though by Kilman. Everton trying to keep the ball alive, but Somerville will win it back just shy of the halfway line. Can they launch a counter-attack? He sweeps the ball out to the right, looking for Bowen, but Mikalenko dealt with it, and Everton tidy up. Crawley 1, Huddersfield 1. Huddersfield equalise through Reece Healey in League 1, and down in League 2, Tranmere 2, Newport 0 now. That's Kieran Morris. Ball fired back to Fabianski by Emerson. That wasn't the easiest back pass to control, but did well Fabianski, but the pass out of his own 18-yard box went straight to Idrissa Gueye. Now Lindstrom scheming down the right hand side, feeds the ball into the box, but cleared away on the half volley by Max Kilman. Antonio was dispossessed by Tarkowski, showing great strength. Now Iliman Ndiaye has it again on the Everton left, level with the West Ham penalty area. Todibo closing down the space, fires it down the left-hand side of the box. Mangala to the dead ball line, pulls it back, headed over. Oh, great save by Fabianski to deny Lindstrom. Got the header on goal about 6 yards out. Might have just dipped under the crossbar, but Fabianski threw up a glove and turned it over for a corner. 0-0.
Really good play from Everton. Just looking at Mangala there, just running off of Paquetá, couldn't even be bothered to track him back. Goes in on the underlap with his left foot, just dinks it up. You said Lindstrom coming in from the left-hand side, from the right-hand side. Sorry, good header and a really good save from Fabianski, just tipping it over his crossbar. Puts it for a corner again for Everton over on their right-hand side.
Exeter 1, Charlton 0. Tristan Kramer puts the Grecians ahead in League 1. Lindstrom with a right-footed out-swinging corner. Up go the heads, it drops beyond Calvert-Lewin, and Tarkowski trying to get something on it, but it just looped up for a comfortable catch from Fabianski. And here come West Ham trying to counter with Michael Antonio. Gets up to halfway, fires a diagonal ball in field. Bowen nearly cushioned a beautiful header down for Somerville. Instead it ricochets back towards Pickford, who clears left-footed, and it stays 0-0. So nearly a perfect layup from Bowen for Somerville.
Yeah, it was really good play.
Oh, given away by Todibo this time to Calvert-Lewin, just outside the West Ham penalty area. Rolls it back, Orel Mangala goes for goal, and it's wide by about a yard. Drove it goalwards from about 25 out, and it goes behind for a goal kick. Don't forget, after this game is done, not only will you get the phone in on TalkSport with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy, but either just before that with Adrian, or maybe during the phone in, you'll hear from both managers here. Alex Crook, who's reporting here today for TalkSport, will be interviewing both Julian Lopetegui and Sean Dyche live. You'll hear those interviews on TalkSport into the phone in from down in the tunnel. Birmingham City 1, Northampton 0. Jay Stansfield puts Birmingham ahead against the Cobblers, and Stockport 4, Bolton 0. Louis Barry is now the top scorer in League 1 as he gets Stockport's 4th of the afternoon and moves on to 9 goals for the season, just ahead of Richard Kone of Wickham.
Dan, so I'm looking, just coming up to 63rd minute. Lopetegui has to make a change. He has to try and influence the game, because there's no spark still from West Ham, and Danny Ings, he'll give you that energy, he'll give you that running in behind, he'll give you 100% effort. I think this is what this West Ham team needs at the minute.
Soufal's being readied down beneath us as Everton come forward with Lindstrom, but he just ran into traffic. Comfortably won back by West Ham in the midway point of their own half, but then Antonio loses out. Huge frustration for both sets of supporters as neither team can get a grip on this game, it seems. Now Ashley Young darting infield for Everton. He's going to go for goal from 25 yards out, but it's blocked and hooked away by West Ham. Somerville give chase. and will get there, but he's beautifully dispossessed by Idrissa Gueye. Fires it into Lindstrom down the right-hand side, but Kilman is out there to deal with that. Tries to win a throw. Ball's gone out of play, is it? Everton throws. Sunderland 2, Coventry 1. Haji Wright gets one back for Coventry at the Championship leaders. MK Dons now lead at home to Swindon. They were a goal down, they're now 2-1 up. 0-0 here.
Dan, to be interesting to see the reaction of the West Ham crowd, because Soufal's coming on. Obviously he's a right back and they need some impetus going forward.
And Soler is coming on as well, a defensive midfielder. That's Perry Groves you can hear alongside me, Ian Danter. We played 64 minutes on TalkSport 2. 0-0 the score between these two nervous Premier League teams, with nervous support all around this stadium. Doesn't matter what colours you're wearing in here this afternoon.
We're getting nervous and we're neutrals.
Ball's on the right hand side with Lindstrom trying to get the better of Emerson, and he's put it behind. It's a corner kick to Everton. And there is another change, and Danny Ings is indeed coming on, so there will be some attacking intent to what is now a triple change for Julian Lopetegui. Soler, Soufal and Ings will be on shortly, but probably after this corner kick that's been spotted down by Lindstrom on the right hand side. Antonio Rodriguez and Wan-Bissaka, I'm told, are the players that are coming off. Here comes the corner from Lindstrom into the near post. Mangala tries to flick it on. It's out to the edge of the box. Mikalenko tucks it back into the centre of the half for Ashley Young. Square ball for Mikalenko. Now a diagonal into the box. Up go the heads. Tarkovsky was up there. Emerson flicks it out to the right. Lindstrom centre cross back in on the half volley. Njai tries to cushion a header down. Comes out to Mikalenko. Awful hit with his right foot. Shanked it. But West Ham couldn't clear it properly. Gueye has it back. Lindstrom level with the edge of the area. Goes in field to Idrissa Gueye. He's going to go for goal. A weak shot from him. Blocked by Guido Rodriguez. But Lindstrom keeps it in play. And no, he's actually not want to throw off Paquetá. It's been given as a West Ham throw. This will allow the triple change to be made, Perry. So Rodriguez, Wan-Bissaka and Antonio off. Soufal, Ings and Soler on.
Well, Soler will just go in alongside Thomas Soucek in that midfield area. Soufal will go at the right back, obviously, for Wan-Bissaka. That surprised me, actually, because Wan-Bissaka does have that athleticism, you know, he's got that little bit of pace. But obviously Danny Ings will just be like for like, I think, for Antonio.
Norwich 0, Bristol City 2. Naki Wells puts Bristol City 2 up at Carrow Road. Crawley lead again against Huddersfield. That's 2-1. Max Anderson. Bristol Rovers 1, Lincoln 1. Jack Moylan equalises for the Imps. And Walsall against Crewe. That's second against fifth in League 2. And Crewe lead at the Poundland. Omar Bogle making it Walsall 0, Crewe 1. So that triple change has been made and received again with some warm applause, but
polite applause, isn't it?
Not exactly raucous enthusiasm from the hosts. Ball's won back by Everton just inside the West Ham half. Let's see what that triple change does for West Ham United. As down the right hand side comes Vladimir Soufal, just being brought into the game. Ings also just on, picks it up down the right hand side of the box. Soufal goes again for a back heel, but it went out off his toe end for an Everton goal kick. Now does Sean Dyche respond with substitutions of his own, having seen that triple switch by Lopetegui? 0-0.
Well, I said before, I think Lindstrom has played better in this second half. You know, his passing's been better, his set plays have been better, but you've got Jack Harrison on the bench. Beto, we mentioned, who came on and had an influence last week against Southampton, had the header against Prosper, had the goal disallowed, was brought down by Bednarek, who, you know, arguably might have been sent off. So it's whether Sean Dyche is going to roll the dice and try and win the game.
No, I'm not having that. Doesn't work. Dice and Dyche are two very different words. You can nudge me all you like, it's not happening. 0-0 into the last quarter of the game on TalkSport 2. Chesterfield 0, Accrington Stanley 2. Zach Orr, what a great name, he's given Accrington a 2-0 lead against the Spyrights. Here's Iliman Njai for Everton, 25 yards out, tried to play a little reverse ball into the air for a run of Lindstrom. Good block from the West Ham defenders, and Paquetá tries to bring it away, and he's won a throw as it's been hit against a Everton midfielder. Crawley 2, Huddersfield 2. Herbie Kane equalises for Huddersfield for a second time. Throw in for West Ham, and that's the first time I've heard "come on you Irons." Slightly half-hearted, but nevertheless that's the first time I've heard it today since kick-off, Perry.
Yeah, well, they haven't had a lot to shout about, to be fair.
No. Bowen looking for a long ball downfield. He won't get there, but Mykolenko headed it out of play for a West Ham United throw. Dundee United 2, Ross County 0 up in the Scottish Premiership. Vladimir Soufal will have this throw midway point of the Everton half. Just over 20 minutes to go on TalkSport 2. There's 3 points up for grabs here if somebody wants to be brave in either claret and blue or royal blue. Throw from Soufal is overcooked. Bounces straight through to Pickford, who can't wait to get it downfield and smack it left-footed in the direction of Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Kilman deals with it with a awkward bouncing ball, gets it up to Somerville. Somerville just inside his own half, hugging the left-hand touchline, will guide it back to the former Wolves man.
Did really well there, Max Kilman, because Calvert-Lewin was just trying to back into him. He made sure that he just stepped off of Calvert-Lewin to let the ball bounce and just got his toe to it first to get West Ham back in possession.
Ings finds Soler and into the centre circle, and Lucas Paquetá slides the ball out to the left-hand side, and Emerson. Somerville's out there with him, gives it back to Emerson. Somerville again, darts to the edge of the area, down the left-hand side of the box. 3 Everton players around him, gone to ground, but he's kept possession. Emerson finds Paquetá in field, lofts it into the box. What was he trying to do there, Paquetá? He's held his hands up apologetically. He's trying to lift it into the box with the top of his foot. He got it all wrong, and it just bounced behind for an Everton goal kick. 0-0 here on TalkSport 2.
Again, you could hear the disappointing groans there from the West Ham fans, because Somerville does brilliantly over that left-hand side, just make sure he keeps possession, comes to Emerson. Emerson just plays inside to Paquetá, and he's just tried to scoop it over the Everton back line, and I think really he should be rolling it into Emerson when he's coming on the underlap. And I think, you know what, don't think it was just for that.
Here is Somerville looking for Danny Ings at the edge of the area, left-hand side. 3 Everton players around him. Guides it back for Paquetá. Diagonal ball into the area. Bowen tries to put it back across the face of goal, but didn't get the purchase on that volley, and it just dribbled through to Pickford. Beto's about to come on for Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Everton's first change at 0-0 with 19 to go.
It was the right idea, but wrong execution there from Jarrod Bowen. It was a decent ball from Paquetá from the middle out to this right-hand side, and Jarrod Bowen just trying to help it in, right foot along 6-yard box, hits the first man.
Calvert-Lewin, who doesn't know yet that his number is up, tried to pass in field, but West Ham win it back. Ball into the centre circle. Soler lays it off to Somerville, neatly done. Quick feet from the former Leeds man, swings it out to Bowen on this near side. Bowen up to the right hand corner of the area, comes in field on his left foot, looking for an option, skips past Gay, can't get the cross into the box, has to go back to Kilman by the centre circle. West Ham will try again at 0-0. Soufal now on the right hand side, he won't put the cross and he'll roll it back instead to Souček. Across it goes to Kilman. Chesterfield 0, Accrington Stanley 3 now in League 2. Now it's Souček out to the left-hand side, and Kilman finds Emerson. Back it goes into the centre circle for Todibo. Souček, Soufal wants it this near side, gets it slid into him, but again he won't try and go on the outside of Mykolenko. No intent with his body language that he's going to drive down this near side. Instead it goes back to Paquetá.
It's a little bit too lateral, isn't it, Dan, from West Ham? Everything's in front of the Everton back 4.
Almost a back 5 at times, the way Lindstrom's playing.
Yeah, I think obviously because Emerson's just pushed a bit further up on that left-hand side.
A long ball downfield from Young's nowhere near an intended target. You're listening to West Ham United 0, Everton 0. And for the latest odds, head to William Hill, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get West Ham to win it 3-1, Everton 29-10. If you fancy the draw, and that's what we have at the moment, 3-4 is the price. That's all thanks to William Hill. 18 plus, thegatherware.org. Somerville inside the area, hits the post with a left-footed effort as he suddenly got behind the Everton back line, and he throws his arms up in frustration. He'd done everything right to work the space, get the shot away, but the post saves Everton. 0-0. Left-hand side, Emerson. Ball down the left-hand side for Paquetá to send the ball in. Bowen trying to turn and get the shot away. It's blocked. And now Everton can try and counter, but Gay shows too much of that to Emerson. It's as close as we've come as Crescencio Somerville, who scored here against Manchester United in that 2-1 win, came so close to giving West Ham the lead. Kilman out to Paquetá, left wing, 3 waiting for a cross. In it goes beyond everybody in claret and blue. And Everton will let the ball drift out of play for a throw-in. Just over a quarter of an hour to go. 0-0. Beto coming on for Calvert-Lewin, but Somerville still ruining that missed opportunity.
Yeah, Somerville saying to the Everton back four, don't leave me this way, because he just made a run from that inside left position. Great little ball from Paquetá, and then just with the instep of his left foot, he tries to roll it past Jordan Pickford. Agonised, comes off the inside of the post. Danny Ings thinks he might get a little tap in, but the angle of the ball just takes it away from him. To be fair, it's Somerville who's looked the more likely for West Ham in the attacking phase of their play to break the deadlock.
I can't believe you even tried that. Mikalenko with the throw for Everton. Leighton Orient 2, Blackpool 0. Charlie Kelman gets the second for the O's, just down the road from here at Brisbane Road. Foul to Everton. Beto, who's just on, gets caught by Todibo. Let's see what Beto, who claims he was an Everton fan when he was allowed because of the influence of watching Samuel Eto'o play in an Everton shirt, did for him. The look on Perry Grove's face to my right suggests he's not fully believing that story.
He's got all Robbie Keane, has he? Robbie Keane had, what, 12 clubs, and every club was his boyhood club, wasn't it? Everyone he had a shirt, everyone he kissed the badge.
Pickford will have the free kick for Everton. Almost bang on halfway this for Everton. Left-footed, hits a diagonal toward the right-hand corner of the box. Tarkowski's there, but it's comfortably headed away by Emerson for West Ham. Somerville has just hit the post, tries to turn away, he's caught and fouled, and a yellow card is going to be issued. I think that's Abdoulaye Doucouré who's got him with that challenge. Fairly agricultural swish. He got away from Idrissa Gueye. In fact, it was Gueye who caught him, I beg your pardon. He's got the yellow card for Everton. And West Ham have got play restarted. They're going to fire the ball out to Soufal on the right. Ricochets infield to Jared Bowen, the captain. Finds Ings at the edge of the area, trying to make room for a shot. Pulls it back, looking for Bowen at the edge of the area. Goes behind Bowen. And Everton will try and clear. Lindstrom finds Beto, who's caught just by the halfway line by Souček. Referee says play on, but he may want to return to that Souček challenge when the ball next goes out of play. 13 and a half to go on TalkSport 2. West Ham United 0, Everton 0. Still we await the deadlock to be broken.
To be fair, Dan, the second half has been better than the first. Didn't have a lot to beat, to be honest.
Did not.
But there has been a good flow about the game. Both teams are trying to get the winner, just a little bit lacking quality. But the one player on the pitch at the moment who looks like he can have that spark is Crescencio Somerville. Every time he gets it, he looks to take players on.
Here's Mikalenko for Everton, rolling into the area looking for Beto, collected by Fabianski. You know, it's that quiet in here this afternoon. We should have heard the roar from Brisbane Road just now when Tom James put the O's 3-0 up against Blackpool. But it's still 0-0 and we've got less than 13 minutes to play here at the London Stadium. The game day phone-in on TalkSport from 5:30 with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. 03717 22 33 44. But if you switch over to TalkSport just after 5 o'clock, where Adrian Durham recaps the day, you will hear live interviews from here at London Stadium, where Alex Crook will be talking to both managers after this result, whatever it may be. Ball's out of play for a throw to West Ham just over the halfway line. Lopetegui, awful control on this near touchline. He probably saw it late, in fairness to him.
Do you know, you can tell the way the game's gone, because Stuart Atwell, it's been a really easy game for him to referee, isn't it? There's been no sort of thunderous challenges, is there? The tempo and pace of the game,
it's very true,
has been pretty placid.
Oh, Beto with a layoff intended for Doucouré, went straight to Paquetá. Now Soler just in front of the centre circle, feeds it into Ings. Ings finds Bowen. Bowen knows that Soufal's waiting for it on the right hand side, plays it blind, does find Soufal, but he's been closed down by Ndiaye, and Ndiaye wins it back for Everton, turns and goes infield towards the halfway line. A great run from Iliman Ndiaye, stopped on halfway by a legitimate challenge from Emerson, but then Everton win a throw as Doucouré whacks it against Todibo. Another lovely run, this time Iliman Ndiaye going through the gears, lovely to watch.
Yeah, Soufal tried to have the little nutmegs on him, didn't he, but didn't get it the other side, and then Iliman Ndiaye managed to get away from him, just driving into centre circle. It was a really good challenge actually from Emerson, just sliding in, put the ball for a throw in, and Everton get themselves back in possession.
Mangala trying to feed it through to Ndiaye, but Soler got an important nick on the ball. Ball's at the edge of the centre circle. Somerville dispossessed by Ashley Young. Now Lindstrom, 30 yards out, quite central, gets the ball on his left, goes for goal, it deflects. Fabianski dived for it, and it's going to be a goal kick because it hit an Everton player on its way through. Ticking down towards 10 minutes of normal time remaining at the London Stadium. Who's got it in them to win the 3 points here? 0-0.
You say, Dance, this game has got 1-0 written all over it. It's who can have that little bit of quality in the final third, that little spark. For Everton, it's Iliman Ndiaye who looks the more likely to open the West Ham back four up, and say for West Ham it's Crescencio Somerville who looks more likely.
Poor touch from Mikalenko on halfway. Bowen steals it off him, manages to nutmeg Idrissa Gueye, gets out to the left hand side. He's made progress through about the midway point of the half. Bowen tucks it in field for Danny Ings. The layoff was intended for Somerville, but it went away from him. However, West Ham have kept possession. Ings again, 30 yards out, will roll it to this near side, and Vladimir Soufal level with the edge of the area. Ndiaye looking to stop the cross. Soufal goes for the byline, hits it against Ndiaye. West Ham corner at the Trevor Brooking end to our right, 0-0.
Dance, that all just started because Danny Ings has looked busy since he's been on. He's been trying to run in behind, he's running across the Everton back four there. He just gets the ball in the centre, just comes out to the right hand side, rolls it out to Soufal. Soufal's 1v1 with Ndiaye, tries to go on the outside of him. In the end, Ndiaye does his defensive duties, gets the block in, corner for West Ham on their right hand side.
Which Bowen's going to take, a left-footed in-swinger from their skipper. And again, a very, very busy 6-yard area. More Everton players than West Ham in it. Bowen chips it into the near post, headed up and over by an Everton defender. I think it was Branthwaite that got the final touch, and he kicks the post in frustration. I think he feels he could have got it away and clear, but instead it's another West Ham corner at 0-0.
Actually, Branthwaite's just got Jordan Pickford out of a bit of a hole there, because Jordan Pickford got himself blocked in, ended up on the floor. Branthwaite headed it over his own goal. Again, it's like the WWE, the Royal Rumble in the Everton 6-yard box. Byron just floated it on top of them.
In it comes from Bowen to the near post, headed away at the near post by Doucouré, but Bowen wins it back, darting into the area, but good defending by Iliman Ndiaye, and he protects the ball, lets it trickle out over the dead ball line for a goal kick to Everton. That's good defending by a player far more well known for doing stuff at the other end of the pitch. 0-0.
Never say die, defending from Iliman Ndiaye. Just making sure he's keeping these defensive duties.
I'll allow that. Cheltenham 1, Bromley 1. Bromley equalised through Omar Suumni as a West Ham player down, needing a bit of treatment, and there's going to be some substitutions coming up. Well, Doucouré's going to be coming off in a minute, and Harrison's going to be coming on, but first things first, West Ham are going to make a change, and Crescencio Somerville is going to make way. And you mentioned he was one of the most lively out there for West Ham, but Luis Guilherme, the 18-year-old, who's only had 4 minutes as a West Ham player against Ipswich since he joined from Palmeiras in June. He's a left winger and Brazil under-18 international, so it's a like-for-like switch positionally speaking on the field. So he's going to get a few more minutes, 8 at least, at the end of this game, 0-0.
That's a surprise, because I actually thought that Crescencio Somerville was the more likely of the West Ham forwards to create something. Say Guilherme's come on, he's got 7 minutes plus added on time, just to have a little bit of stardust.
You're listening to West Ham 0, Everton 0 on TalkSport 2 with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever the mission, home or away, Enterprise helps over 120,000 people every day. Stevenage 1, Reading 1 in League 1. Harvey Nibbs equalises for Reading. Everton clear their lines as there was suddenly a high press from West Ham. Ball breaks over halfway, but Lindstrom can't get there. And the referee has brought play back whilst Everton were attacking for a foul on Ashley Young. It's still 0-0. We've got just over 6 minutes of normal time to play. Perry Groves.
You could see that even in the crowd there, Danny Ings ran 50 yards to close down Jordan Pickford, and you could hear the crowd like get that impetus, what Danny Ings' energy was providing. It went out to Ashley Young, and to be fair, just a little bit late on Ashley Young, but that's just because he's having that energy and the will to actually go and try and affect the game without being in possession.
Pickford smacks the free kick downfield up to the edge of the area. Beto can't get the flick on. Tarkowski with a strong header in field. It might drop for Guilherme just shy of the halfway line. It's fouled by Ashley Young. Free kick to West Ham just shy of halfway. Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 2. Harry Wilson with a late show again. He was the man that won the game on Monday night against Brentford, and he's done it again, surely to seal the points for Fulham at beleaguered Palace. Tranmere 2, Newport 1. The giant Kyle Hudlin gets a goal back for the Exiles at Prenton Park. But a free kick to West Ham, and the referee's just coming across to book Julian Lopetegui, is it? For too much back chat. Yellow card for Lopetegui. Jack Harrison still waiting to come on. I mentioned he was coming on a moment ago, and he's still waiting to get his opportunity here, the former Leeds United and Manchester City man. Meantime, Coventry have equalised at the Championship leader Sunderland. That's now 2-2. Jack Redoni making it 2-2 with 6 minutes to go up on Wearside here in East London. Paquetá for West Ham at 0-0. Looks for Guilherme down the left-hand side of the area. Brought it down well, but Ashley Young actually robbed it off him and then hit it against the young Brazilian and behind for an Everton goal kick. And now Jack Harrison gets the opportunity to come on, and it's Abdoulaye Doucouré who's going to be making way for him. So finally you get to see Jack Harrison, who you've been beating your gums about all afternoon, Perry Gray.
Well, yeah, only because I have to say that Lindstrom was that poor in the first half. His game was improved in the second half. But if you're Jack Harrison and you're watching and your team play, and you think, well, actually, I can give you that spark, I can give that bit of imagination. And Everton defensively have been okay, but they've missed Dwight McNeil in that 10 position where he's been outstanding for Everton.
Well, that's the position that Harrison's gone into. He's not gone out wide. 4 minutes to go of normal time. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Walsall have equalised at home to Crewe in that game between 2nd and 5th. Here's West Ham coming forward. A chance for a shot from the edge of the area. Soler up to the edge of the D. The shot was weak. Blocked away. Comes to Ings inside the area. Ings to win it. Saved by Pickford. Down to his right-hand side and cleared away for a throw-in. Danny Ings grimaces. He knows how close he was to putting West Ham in front in the last knockings. They still have it with a throw-in down the left-hand side. Thomas Souček works it out to Soufal. On this right-hand side, level with the edge of the area. Doesn't put the cross in. Lays it back to Souček. He won't cross it either. Back it goes to the halfway line and Todibo. Into Souček once more. Soufal, he's been sold short by the pass. It's picked off by Iliman Ndiaye, who gets past Soufal. He's fouled, and Soufal gets himself a yellow card for that challenge. And Everton have a free kick just over halfway, right in front of where Sean Dyche is urging one last bit of effort from his players to see if they can create a goal-scoring and winning opportunity. 0-0.
Here's a bit of a panic up there from Soufal, because Ndiaye looked like he was away from him on the halfway line, just chopped him down with his left foot. And just earlier, the ball broke to Danny Ings on the right-hand side of the box, took a brilliant touch out of his feet, got it onto his left foot. He's trying to bend it low into Jordan Pickford's right-hand side. Good save from Jordan Pickford, just made sure he got two big palms to it.
And here's Pickford taking a free kick from halfway up to the right-hand corner of the box. It's won by Lucas Paquetá, fires it up to halfway looking for Ings. Tarkowski steps in front of him. Peterborough United 5, Cambridge 1. Comebacks on for the U's. Sully Kaikai making it 5-1 at London Road. Here's Iliman Ndiaye at 0-0 for Everton, twisting and turning and getting away from a couple of challenges. Gillingham are 1-0 up on the League 2 leaders Port Vale. Jaden Clark scores at the Priestfield with 11 to go. We've got 2 minutes to go here as Mikolenko strides forward for Everton, chips the ball into the area. Good claim from Fabianski, came out to his 6-yard line and made a comfortable catch. Paquetá goes down. No foul, says the... Oh yeah, there was a foul on him, says the referee. I thought he'd let play go because Souček looked like he was getting there first, but everybody slowed down.
It's unlucky actually from Mikalenko on the left-hand side. He's just trying to ease the ball between the 6-yard box and the penalty spot. In the end, he couldn't get quite enough curl on it for Beto.
No, just didn't wrap his foot round it enough. Stockport 5, Bolton 0. Odin Bailey looks like he's completed the scoring for the Hatters this afternoon. And the throw into Everton as we are in the last minute of normal time. 0-0. Mikalenko throws it into Beto, trying to roll the defender Todibo, can't do so. Kilman just puts his foot through it, goes out of play, lands right next to the fourth official, Tim Robinson.
Just see Sean Dyche there. He's doing exactly the same as last week at St Mary's when the ball went into Beto, it bounced off him, and you see Sean Dyche actually making the movement to say back in, get your bum stuck out and make sure you back into the centre half. Just a little bit of frustration from Sean Dyche.
Flick on from Mikalenko, but Njai came back from an offside position to collect the flick, so West Ham have a free kick. And it's rolled back 5 yards from Soufal to Todibo. We're about to find out how much added time we're going to go into here at the London Stadium. 4 minutes, there we are, 4 minutes that we're into now for either side to find a winner.
There's no real roar from the West Ham fans. They just say, come on, we've got 4 minutes to go, can we get a winner, can we get on the front foot, get the balls into the box? It was just like, all right, there's 4 minutes, is there? Okay, we've got to watch this again for 4 minutes.
West Ham trying to win it back just inside the Everton half. Soufal gets the ball taken off his toe by Idrissa Gueye. What, they're giving us a throw there. Well, the referee's given that throw before the assistant giving it to West Ham, much to the disgust of Sean Dyche. But it will be a throw that Soufal will take on this near side, but he's gone too far, he's crept too far forward into the Everton half of the field. So we've played nearly a minute of the 4 that have been added on. 0-0 it remains on TalkSport 2. The phone-in to come at 5:30 on TalkSport. The game day phone-in with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. Gueye having to roll the ball back to his keeper, but he was being fouled by Paquetá. So a free kick to Everton. What ambition have the visitors got left in added time to try and nick it? And Sean Dyche is going absolutely bonkers down at the edge of his technical area.
Yeah,
not sure who is at the eye of the storm there.
I think it was just telling his midfield just to make sure that they stay strong, that they don't negate their defensive positions and leave that gap for Paquetá to exploit.
Pickford's latest free kick, midway point of his own half, sent down the left-hand side. Beto goes up with Todibo, but Todibo wins the header. Bowen helps it towards halfway, but Everton win it back. Mikalenko drives it down the left-hand side, but it just dribbles out of play for a West Ham throw. Soufal takes a dry ball off the multi-ball system, throws it up to halfway, flicked on by Ings, but nobody made the running behind. Everton can tidy up. Back with Pickford once again. Again, long, booming clearance downfield with his left foot over Beto's head. And Souček, in between the two centre-halves, gets it up to halfway, but Everton have it back. Mikalenko chips the ball infield to Iliman Njai, centre of the half. Options left and right. Goes right to Ashley Young, who's in a bit of space. Midway point of the half, gives it back infield to Iliman Njai. Now Lindstrom finds Young once again. Maybe Harrison can create something. Early cross from the right. Emerson comes off his back, but it doesn't go out for a corner. Claimed by Fabianski. 90 seconds to go, 0-0. Fabianski clears from hand, but straight to Ashley Young. Maybe Jack Harrison can get onto that, but instead Maximilian Kilman made it his. Diagonal ball in field from Emerson, looking for Ings. Branthwaite didn't get there ahead of him. Ings can send it right for Paquetá. One last chance for West Ham, up to the edge of the area. Ings, what a save! Jordan Pickford to deny West Ham a winner. Ings drove it into the turf. It may have taken a deflection. Brilliant save by Pickford. 0-0.
Jordan Pickford may have just earned his team a point. Brilliant play from Danny Ings initially. Just make sure he robs Branthwaite, gets it back from Paquetá on the edge of the D, takes a good touch out of his feet with his left foot, gets his right foot shot in, deflected. Fantastic flying save from Jordan Pickford, corner for West Ham.
on the left-hand side. It's floated in, headed up in the air. Ings tries to bring it down, but there was a high boot on Oromangala, and that means Everton can clear their lines with a free kick. That may well be that. Pickford's just getting himself up off the floor. He knows how vital a save that was. Brilliant goalkeeping.
Dan, it was, I tell you what, it was agility, it was athleticism, because he moved his feet really well, because when Danny Ings got his shot away, it took a really wicked deflection and looped up in the air. It's a world-class save from Jordan Pickford.
England's number one. They have earned 1 point. And there goes the full-time whistle. Boos around the London Stadium. Nothing to stir the blood of the West Ham fans this afternoon. And they failed to make it 3 successive home wins under Jurgen Lopetegui.
I'll ask you about some strange substitutions, I thought, from both managers as well. Firstly, with West Ham taking Crescencio Somerville off with about 8 minutes to go, because he looked like the brightest player on the pitch for West Ham United. He just hit the post as well, and his replacement didn't really do anything to add to the game.
Yeah, no, Gilham came on, obviously a young player learning his trade. And if you was Crescencio Somerville, as you said there, you wouldn't be very happy, because he was the bright spark. He had a great chance where he ran through and he just rolled it past Jordan Pickford, come off the inside of the post. It was Paquetá's probably only contribution, what you could say, to this match in full, because I can't believe that he stayed on the pitch, because he was totally ineffective, especially in the first half. Second half, and when I was looking at him, he's playing in 10th position, but you've got to actually work hard to get yourself